Our next story is from the United Kingdom. It is preparing to formally recognize the State of Palestine, a move that was decades in the making. On paper, this is a diplomatic gesture. In practice, it is a political earthquake. You see, the UK was the old colonial referee of West Asia. Now it is stepping into the field with a very different whistle. So what does this recognition mean? Why is it such a big deal? And why now, after years of delay and hesitation? Tonight, we'll break it down for you, starting with the update. What exactly is happening here? The United Kingdom has long been talking about recognizing Palestine as a separate country. Now they're finally doing it. Currently, 147 countries in the world recognize Palestine as a sovereign nation. That's 75% of all UN members. India is one of them. And soon the UK will join this list. What made them do it? Israel's recent strikes in Gaza may have precipitated it. The UK government called out these strikes. They criticized Israel, and perhaps this was the final push that London needed. Like I said, they've been talking about it for a while. In fact, the Labour Party promised to do this in their manifesto. So Keir Starmer's government was already under pressure, especially from Muslim voters in the UK. They were not happy with London's stance on Gaza. Labour's early hesitation on Gaza cost it dearly in cities like Leicester and Birmingham. Here, independent candidates jumped ahead. So this is Keir Starmer's attempt to win back trust. Basically, this recognition, the recognition of Palestine, kills two birds with one stone. The government of the United Kingdom sends a tough message to Israel, and it also keeps its vote bank happy.
So it's within that context of a plan for peace, which we're working hard on, which not only did we discuss this morning, but our two teams have been working together on, that the question of recognition needs to be seen. And so it's part of that overall package which hopefully takes us from the appalling situation we're in now to the outcome of a safe and secure Israel, which we do not have, and a viable Palestinian state.
But to really understand why this matters, you have to go back in time. In 1917, London issued the Balfour Declaration. It promised that Jewish people could have a homeland in Palestine. But there was a problem. Palestinians were already living there. After World War I, Britain was put in charge of this land. It tried to keep the peace, but it mostly made things worse. By 1947, Britain gave up. It handed this issue to the United Nations, and right after that, the first Arab-Israeli war began. So Britain has been both the referee and the spectator, which is why its recognition today really matters. And the UK is not acting in isolation. France is doing the same. They too plan to recognize Palestine, same with Australia, Canada and Malta. They will all recognize Palestine as a separate country at the United Nations General Assembly. It will take place in New York next week. And two parties are not happy about this development. The first, of course, is Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has accused UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer of appeasing Hamas.
I could never understand how this simple truth evades the leaders of France, Britain, Canada, and others. They're now proposing to establish a Palestinian state and reward these murderers with the ultimate prize. Well, for 18 years, we had a de facto Palestinian state. It's called Gaza. And what did we get? Peace? No. We got the most savage slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust.
So Netanyahu is unhappy. The other party that's unhappy is the United States. President Donald Trump has called the move, and I'm quoting, unhelpful. The US insists that the time is not right, but privately, even the Americans are frustrated with Netanyahu. The recent Israeli strikes on Doha were a major red flag. So Britain's decision may be inconvenient, but it won't rupture the UK-US ties.
We have to have the hostages back immediately. That's what the people of Israel want. They want them back, and we want the fighting to stop, and it's going to stop. But a lot of bad things. You know, Hamas said that they're going to put the hostages up as bait. They're going to put the hostages in front of any attack. And that's pretty brutal. We haven't heard that one in a long time. So we have to remember that. So I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score. Okay? One of our few disagreements, actually.
The big question is this: what will this recognition change? Legally, recognition turns a Palestinian mission in London into an embassy. Diplomats gain new privileges and flags go up. But this is all largely symbolic. Beyond this, it does not change the ground reality of Palestine. Diplomatic recognition does not create a state. At best, it creates political momentum. Of course, recognition without follow-up risks being little more than a gesture. It won't stop the Israeli strikes, it won't ease Palestinian lives. So unless recognition is paired with real pressure, it could just be symbolic. So to conclude, yes, Britain's move is a historic marker. It closes a circle that began with the Balfour Declaration more than a century ago. But history is not about just symbols. The real test is whether this gesture translates into leverage, whether it ends the war in Gaza, whether it pushes the world closer to peace. Else, like so many times before, it will remain just another piece of paper in a very long file.